So today we are going to continue to look at a scenario where civilization starts over. We are now on episode 6 of the series, and saw the war breaking out between the Triangle and Square alliances, or primarily, Judea versus the Roman Empire. This all started with a skirmish between the borders of Greece and Ilistia. Now let's get into the Great Mediterranean War. So Ilistia will absolutely roll over Greece, and yeah, bye-bye Greece. In Romania, Romania is going to get jumped by the Illyrians and the Crimeans. And they are doing well as they are almost on capturing the capital of Romania. In the Ukrainian region, the Crimean Empire will conduct its invasion of Judea in the Caucasus Mountains, and they are doing surprisingly well against the Judeans. We are going to move on to Carthage to see what they'll do. Oh damn, Carthage is getting absolutely slimed by the Romans and even the Moroccans. Yeah, they are not doing well, they have to lock in. We are going to move on to the region of France where the Lime French country is going to get absolutely destroyed and slimed by the Romans as they don't really stand a chance against them, and the French will capitulate to the Roman Empire. Back into the Balkans, we see that Romania has capitulated to the Triangle Alliance. But don't worry, the almighty Ilistians will push into the Balkans in Illyria and occupied Romania. Now let's check on Carthage to see how they are doing. Okay, the Carthaginian army cannot be this incompetent. How the hell did they lose already? Alright, that's enough of this incompetency and this the progress of the war so far. Well, in this moment, we are going to move away from Europe and the Middle East as an interesting event will happen. We are going to move on to the Indian subcontinent. Let's see what the Indicans and the Indians will do. Oh no, oh my gosh, they're fighting. Okay, so Indica and the KOI are sliming each other. Please stop, you two. Oh okay, you're not gonna stop then. Oh okay, fine. Indica is winning, I guess. We are going to move on back onto Europe in the Great Mediterranean War. In this moment, Sweden will be joining the war on the side of the Triangles. But the reason Sweden did it was because they want some land from Germany, not because of Judea. So Sweden will now invade Germany and completely capture the region of Denmark from Germany. In the region of France, we have Britannia managing to make a landing in Normandy where they're on a quest on trying to liberate France. We are now going to move on to the Crimean Empire where they're getting pushed back from the Judeans. The Judeans are finally locking in and they manage to push the Crimeans all the way out of their country. To make things even worse for Crimea, the Judeans will now make an offensive into their territory, and it is not looking good for Crimea. In the Europe, the dark red Netherlands will join the trio. My gosh, I haven't even finished yet. Okay, yeah, RIP the Dutch, the country. In the Balkans and Crimea, we have the Square Alliance locking in as Ilistian, Judean, and Egyptian troops are absolutely sliming the Triangle Alliance. This is the current progress of the war so far. It looks like that this war has a slight favor towards the Square Alliance. We haven't checked on India yet. Let's see what the KOI and Indica are doing so far. Oh okay, so I guess the KOI has locked in and they have started to slime the Indicans. Good job, Kingdom of the Indians. So we are now going to move on to the War of the Mediterranean in the Balkans where the Ilistians are literally dominating and absolutely sliming the Triangles. And they basically captured all of Romania. Plus, the Romanian government will be reinstated by the Square Alliance. Welcome back, Romania. This is a disaster for the Crimean Empire as they now have to fight two fronts from the Square Alliance with the almighty Egyptian, Judean, and Ilistian strength. The Crimean Empire will now do a cry for help for other nations that are willing to go against the Judeans. Rome is panicking and freaking out as they are seeing that the war is going absolutely horrible for the Triangle Alliance as a Judean victory is going to happen as they know it. So they will start crying for help to other nations that can save the Triangle Alliance from getting destroyed by the Square Alliance. And a nation will actually answer this call to arms. A nation that has been in this world since the beginning. A nation that has been a part of Judea that has broken away from. A nation that can actually save the Triangle Alliance from capitulation. Mesopotamia will be joining the war on the side of the Triangle Alliance. Mesopotamia will be making sure that Judea will not be controlling the world ever again. They broke away from Judea for a reason, and they're afraid that they will come back. They want the Judean order gone, and this is the perfect opportunity to do so. Mesopotamian forces will now be crashing down into Judean territory, and Judea is absolutely surprised by this, and they need to act fast to stop Mesopotamia from taking them down. But Mesopotamia's actions will have consequences though, as Judea has called in Caspia and Persia to go join in the square alliance, as Judea promised land to the two countries. But the Judean front line with Crimea will start to collapse due to Mesopotamia's entry to the war. Caspia and Persia will send troops into Mesopotamia just like what Judea ordered them to. Back into Europe, Rome has gained hope again as they now start to push back Ilistia and Romania alongside the Crimeans. Back into the Middle East, Judea is struggling against the Mesopotamians as Mesopotamia and Crimea are absolutely sliming Judea. This can be a disaster for the Square Alliance, as if Judea were to fall, the rest of the Square Alliance would also be doomed as they know it. We are going to move on to the front in Normandy, where the Brescianians are doing a very good job at liberating France onto the point where they managed to capture all of France from Rome. And we can see that France will be reinstated by the Brescianians. This is a very big failure for Rome, as they are now seeing that they have to fight in another front with the British and the French crossing into their territory. We are going to back to the front line between Mesopotamia and Judea. This is where Judea is really starting to lock in, and they start invading onto the territories of Mesopotamia and are trying to spearheading into Mesopotamia's capital. But in the north, we can see that Mesopotamia is already crossing into the borders of Ilistia, and Ilistia is very alarmed by this, as they need to defend themselves against the gigantic Mesopotamians. We are going to head on back onto the Indian subcontinent again. Let's see how the war between the Koi and Indica is going. Okay, I'm not even going to describe this here. Yeah, this is just sad. Looks like that Indica is actually going to win after all. Let's just let them do their own thing and move on somewhere else. In Central Europe, we finally have Germany locking and make an offensive into Rome up in the north, but Germany isn't all that successful since they are struggling to get through the Alpine mountains. Back down in the north of Africa, we have the Egyptians convincing Libya to join the war so they can properly liberate Carthage. Back into the Mesopotamian front, the front between the Judeans and Mesopotamians are going absolutely crazy. We have the Judeans struggling to get to the capital of Mesopotamia, but Mesopotamia is doing horrible in the area of the UAE, and there's even an uprising in Qatar that in an open rebellion against Mesopotamia. I wonder who caused that. We are heading on to Eastern Europe, where the Pink Polish and Bohemian country will join the war on the side of the Square Alliance. We are going to head on back onto France, where the French will start to make advances into Rome to the point where they are about to cut them off. And they do indeed cut Rome off from the rest of the Iberian Peninsula, as Rome is now going to be just isolated from to just the Italian peninsula. We are going to check onto the Koi and Indica again. I hope I don't see anything ridiculous. Okay, Indica, how are they fumbling so hard? Didn't they just have the Koi close to capitulation? Alright, I guess that Indica is cooked then. Looks like Koi is going to win in this front. We are going to check onto the front in Illyria, and yeah, Illyria hasn't got any mercy on them, as they got absolutely destroyed into capitulation. I don't think things can get any worse for the Triangle Alliance, right guys? Oh no. So yeah, Egypt has reinstated Carthage, and the Moroccans are absolutely cooked, as the Carthaginians and Egyptians are going to roll through their country, and Morocco will have to be forced into capitulation as they cannot handle this many soldiers in the front lines. Oh. There are rebellions rising up against the Roman rulers in Iberia. And the rebels in the area will manage to take all of Iberia for themselves. Rome is now isolated into only the Italian peninsula, as they are on their last breath. They will asking a cry for help for their soldiers to come back into the capital city to defend their home territory. We are going to head back onto the Indian subcontinent. Let's see what's happening there. Okay, how is the Koi losing this time, and Indica manages to make a huge comeback? Didn't the Koi just was about to win against Indica and they managed to get slimed back? Okay, this isn't right. I guess this war will be a W for Indica then. We are going to head on to Crimea, where they will get absolutely slimed by the Romanian armies as they crossing into their territory. We also saw that Ilistia has pushed back Mesopotamia. We are going to head on back onto Mesopotamia on where Judea will absolutely slime back at Mesopotamia as they already took a lot of their land in the south as the Qatari rebellion grows, and the Judeans are just steps away from approaching their capital and taking it. Back into the north of Crimea, they are not having a good time as they are being jumped from basically all sides except the north. This gets to point where the Baltics will join on the fun on sliming Russia and Crimea. We are going to head on back onto Rome, where the once great Rome is falling and losing hope. Square troops will now roll in, closer, add closer into the home capital of Rome. As square troops come in all sides as Rome cannot escape. As the Roman Empire is getting closer to its demise, the Roman Emperor will come out to the public as he's standing on one of the tallest buildings of the empire. He makes a speech to his people, reminding the people on how great this empire was. It was strong and prosperous. But good things must come to an end as the Roman Emperor will jump off the building and he is dead, and the day after that, Rome will be captured. And the Roman Empire will officially capitulate to the Square Alliance. A few days later, the Mesopotamian capital has been captured by Judea. Mesopotamia will now start to see their demise as a Judean victory is imminent. The Crimean Empire will see their demise as that their capital and the Crimean Peninsula has been captured. And the Crimeans will now surrender to the Square Alliance that are now in occupation. This causes Russia to leave the war as they see no point on fighting. Sweden will also leave the war. Back in the Middle East, Mesopotamia is getting absolutely destroyed by the Judeans. They never seen such destruction happen in their own soil. Caspia will also push into Mesopotamia, and Judea will always be the strongest nation in the world, as they are feeling pride as they feel that they are the nation. And after a couple of weeks, Mesopotamia will officially fall to Judea. The War of the Mediterranean is now finally and officially over. This war resulted in a Square Alliance victory. We are now going to take a look at a peace treaty now. This is an extremely large peace treaty as this will change the world map, so prepare to see all of the changes. The peace treaty of the Great Mediterranean War will be shown in 3, 2, 1. As you can see, Judea has complete dominance in over the Middle East. There is a lot of changes to go through, so let's see all of them. We are going to look into India, and as we can see, Indica has won the war in India, so they took a chunk of land out of the KOI. We are now going to look into Europe where most of the changes happened. We can see that Carthage has taken all of Morocco back and got some land in Iberia. And in Iberia, we saw that there are 2 independent kingdoms emerge, the Castile and Aragon in this universe. In Western Europe, we saw that France has taken all of France, and we have a new Dutch country. And Germany also got their war spoils. Britannia didn't really get anything, so sorry Britannia. In the Italian peninsula, we saw that there are now more nations here. But luckily, Rome survives. So Rome is just reduced to a Roman Republic as we have nations in the north gaining independence and Alistia getting South Italy and South Illyria. Sardinia and Corsica are independent also. In the Balkans, we have Alistia growing very large in size, as they now have Greece and South Italy to themselves, so lucky them. We have Romania growing huge in size also. In the Slavic region, we see that Poland united with Kaliningrad to just create the state of Poland, so that's nice. We also have Crimea being humiliated where they also lose the Crimean Peninsula, and a new golden Crimean country is now staying there, where Judea also got their war spoils in Caucasia. Russia also got their monarchy replaced with a new one. In Egypt, we can see that they reunited with Libya, and they also grew in size since they expanded more inland into Africa after the war. And we have the elephant in the room, Judea. They have grown humongous in size stretching from the Caucasus and down to Yemen. As we can see, Mesopotamia is absolutely humiliated by this war as they are reduced to just Kuwait. Everything that Mesopotamia has is gone. We saw that Persia also got land. I also shifted their color. And we got 2 new independent countries, Qatar and the Emirates. That is all of the changes in the map. And we are now in a new era, as the age of the Promised Land is over and we are starting to enter into the medieval ages. I want to say thank you all for watching the Great Mediterranean War. I hope you all enjoyed it. And I will see you all in episode 7, marking the start of the medieval era.